Hey students, so today we are going to discuss the topic of force and motion. Okay, so before learning about force, think about these questions like when you push someone on a swing, why do they feel they swing forward? When you drop your pencil, why does it fall to the ground? Why do rocks fly upward when they shoot gases downwards? Think of this like the answer to all this question is simply force. Like scientists study how everything moves in the universe. They discovered that everything follows the laws of nature and force is one of those laws. Okay, so what is force? Simple. Force is simply a push or a pull of an object. Like whenever we push or pull something, we are applying a force. Okay. So pushing an object will move it away from the force. For example, when you jump in the air, you push yourself down of the ground, causing your body to go up. So basically, a push moves an object away from you. For example, pushing a shopping cart, closing a door, kicking a football, pushing a swing. Like when you jump, your feet push against the ground. Okay, so this is an example of pushing an object. Whereas pulling an object will move it towards the force. Example, gravity is a force that pulls everything towards the earth. So when you jump, gravity is what pulls you back down. Okay, so a pull moves an object towards you. For example, pulling a drawer open, pulling a rope, pulling a suitcase. Another example is gravity. Like gravity is, pulling force because it pulls everything towards earth. When you jump, gravity pulls you back to the ground. Okay. So think about this, like what can force do? Force can change the way an object behaves. Like it can start motion, stop motion, speed up, slow down, change direction. Okay, anything it can do. So forces can help an object speed up, slow down, stay in place, or even change its shape. Force cause motion or a lack of motion. To change an object's motion, a force need to be applied. So if a rock was in place, still not moving, chilling and living its life, a force would have to come along in order for it to move. Because a rock can't move on its own. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can see several examples of peoples or things in motion. 1.1. You probably think of many other examples you know from experience what motion is. So it may seem like a straightforward concept. Motion can also be defined simply as a change in position. Okay, so this is the main point. Like motion can also be defined simply as a change in position. Okay, let's I highlight this. This is an important point. But if you think about examples of motion in more depth, you will find that the idea of motion is not quite as simple and straightforward as it seems. Okay, so basically we discussed about motion. Like we have many examples of motion. Like a football lying on the ground will not move by itself. Like when you kick, your foot applies a force, and now the football starts moving. Okay, so we can say that motion means movement. Like a thing is in motion if it changes its position. For example, if a ball on the floor and later it is under the table, it has changed its position. That is motion. Okay. So think about this, like can object move by themselves? No, of course. It's a simple question. So most object needs a force before they move. Like a rock lying on the ground will stay there unless someone pushes it, pulls it, or kicks it. Okay. So without force, the rock stays still. Okay. So the next one is frame of reference. Okay. So what is frame of reference? Like frame of reference, assume that a school bus like that one in figure 1.2 passes by as you stand on the sidewalk. Okay, so let's see it. So simple. This is one of the most important ideas in motion, frame of reference, that is. It sounds difficult, but it is actually easy. Okay. So imagine this, like you are standing on the road, a school bus drives past you, to you, the bus is moving. Now imagine you are sitting inside the bus. You look at your friend sitting beside you. Your friend does not seem to be moving. Why? Because both of you are moving together. You are moving at the same speed. So compared to each other, you look still. Now look outside the window. The trees and buildings seems to move backwards. Actually, the trees are not moving, the bus is moving. So this happens because your frame of reference has changed. Okay. So you can say that a frame of reference is something that you compare with to decide whether an object is moving or not. Okay, think of it as your point of view. The next one is, okay. Okay. So here's an important point, like all forces are measured in something is called Newton, named after Isaac Newton, who discovered much of what we know now about force and motion. But don't think too much about him just yet. We'll learn more later. But first, we will learn about distance, speed, and time. So, in simple word, like in this paragraph, scientists measure force using a unit called the newtons, and it is named after Sir Isaac Newton, the scientist who explained many important ideas about force and motion. Like, for example, 5 newtons, 10 newtons, 20 newtons force. The stronger the push or pull, the larger the number of newtons. Okay. So next we will discuss distance, speed, and time. Okay. So what is distance? Distance tells us how much ground an object has covered. Okay. Like simple and easy definition of distance is like distance is the length of the path traveled from one place to another. Okay. Like you can say that walking from your house to school, running around a playground, driving from one city to another, all of these involve distance. Okay. So running events in a track include 100-meter sprints and 200-meter races. Races are named for their distance. Distance is the length of the route between 2 points. The length of the route in a race is the distance between the starting and finishing lines. Okay, so in simple word, distance traveled by an object is a total length of the path it has completed in one motion. Okay, so here we have many examples of the distance, like running around a playground, walking from your house to school. It is basically distance between 2 points. Okay, so SI unit of distance is the meter. Okay, short distances may be measured in centimeters. 1 centimeter is equal to 0.01 meter. Long distances may be measured in kilometers. So the standard SI unit is basically meter. Okay. So other units are, 10 millimeter is equals to 1 centimeter, 100 centimeter is equals to 1 meter, 1,000 meter is equals to 1 kilometer. Okay. So which unit we use, like millimeter is, you can say thickness of coin. Centimeter is, you can say, length of a pencil. Meter is, height of a person, and kilometer is like distance between cities. Okay. Okay. So maps can also be used to measure a distance. Okay. Suppose find Mia's house and the school, you can use the map key to directly measure the distance between these two points. The distance is 2 kilometers. Measure it yourself to see if you agree. Okay, so this is your self assessment basically. And the answer of this theory is 3 kilometers. Okay, so you have to do it and practice it. Okay, so the next one is time. Time is a measure of duration that an object takes to travel a certain distance. Like here we have smaller units, 60 seconds, which is equals to 1 minute. 60 minute is equals to 1 hour. 24 hours is equals to 1 day. 7 days is equals to 1 week. And 12 months is equals to 1 year. 365 and 1.5 days is equals to 1 year. Okay, so what do you think, is speed relevant to time or distance? Yes, speed is relevant to both time and distance because we have the formula speed is equals to distance divided by time, okay, which we will discuss in detail. So, did you ever notice that a bicycle moves slower than a motorcycle? A car usually moves faster than a bicycle, and airplane moves much faster than a car. All of these have different speeds. Okay, so what is speed? Speed tells us how fast or how slow an object is moving. Like it tells us how much distance an object travel in a certain amount of time. Okay, so speed is a distance traveled by an object in a given time. Like, a bicycle moves slower than a motorcycle. It all of these just because of speed. Okay, so suppose a car travels 20 meters every second. This means in 1 second it travels 20 meters. In 2 seconds it travels 40 meters. In 3 seconds it travels 60 meters. So its speed is 20 meters per second. Okay. So speed is an important aspect of motion. Like it is a measure of how fast or slow something moves. It depends on how far something travels and how long it takes to travel that far. Speed can be calculated using this formula, which is speed is equals to distance divided by time. Okay. So a familiar example is speed of a car. In the US, this is usually expressed in miles per hour. Okay, which is figure 2.2. If your family makes a trip that covers 120 miles and takes 3 hours, then the car speed is, like, you simply have to put values in the formula, which is speed is equals to distance divided by time. The distance is 120 miles and time is 3. So you simply have to put the value to calculate speed. So the speed of the car may also be expressed in kilometers per hour. The SI unit of speed is meters per second. Okay. So the next one is instantaneous versus average speed. Okay. When you travel by car, you usually don't move at a constant speed. Instead, you go faster or slower depending on speed limit, traffic lights, and many other factors. Okay. So this is what you can say, that the word instantaneous means at one particular moment. Like instantaneous speed is a speed of an object at one exact moment. It can change every second. Okay. For example, imagine you are driving a car. At one moment, you are driving at 40 kilometer per hour. A few seconds later, you drive at 60 kilometer per hour. Then you slow down to 20 kilometer per hour because of traffic. So the speed shown on the speed meter right now is your instantaneous speed. Okay. For example, you might travel 65 miles per hour on a highway, but only 20 miles per hour on a city street. Okay. This is because of instantaneous speed. You might come to a complete stop at traffic lights, slow down as you turn corners, and speed up to pass other cars. The speed of moving car or other object at a given instant is called its instantaneous speed. It may vary from moment to moment, so it is hard to calculate. It is easier to calculate the average speed of a moving object than the instantaneous speed. So the average speed is the total distance traveled divided by the total time it took to travel that distance. So what is average speed? Like average speed is the total distance traveled divided by the total time taken. It is basically a formula of this, like average speed is equals to total distance divided by total time. Okay, let's take an example to discuss it. Like our family travels 75 miles. Okay, this one. Suppose, for example, that you took a 75-mile can trip with your family, your instantaneous speed varied throughout the trip. So if the trip took a total of 1.5 hours, your average speed for the trip would be, like we are saying that a family travels 75 miles in 1.5 hours. So average speed is equals to 75 mile divided by 1.5. Okay. So the answer is 50 miles per hour. This does not mean the car was always moving at 50. It means sometimes it moved faster, sometimes slower, sometimes stop. But overall, its average speed was 50. Okay. So calculating distance from speed and time. So if you know the speed of moving object, you can also calculate the distance it will travel in a given amount of time. To do so, you would use this version of the general, which is speed formula is equals to distance is equals to speed into time. Okay. So sometimes speed and time are given. We need to find the distance. Okay. So we can say that distance is equals to speed into time. For example, if a car travels at a speed of 60 kilometer per hour for 2 hours, then the distance traveled is, like, you simply have to put distance is equals to speed, which is 60 divided by time, 2. So the answer would be 120 kilometer. Okay. These are three formulas for speed, time, and distance. Okay, so if you want to know the speed, you simply have to put this formula. Speed is equals to distance divided by time. The next one is solving for time. Time is equals to speed, distance divided by speed, and distance is equals to speed into time. Okay, so we have some practice. Okay, so your dog runs in a straight line for a distance. Distance is 43 meters and time is 28 seconds. So what is your dog speed? So you simply have to put formula this speed is equals to distance divided by time. So put value of distance in the place of d and t in the place of and 28 in the place of 28 and just divide them so you will get the speed. So the next one is velocity and acceleration. So just like speed, velocity is also made with respect to distance and time. The difference between velocity and speed is one of the vector quantity and other is scalar. So what is velocity actually? So velocity is very similar to speed, but there is one important difference. Like speed tells only how fast an object moves, whereas velocity tells how fast the object moves and in which direction it moves. Like simple, let's take an example. Like a car moves at 60 kilometer per hour. This tells only the speed. Now say like the car moves at 60 kilometer per hour east. Now both speed and direction are given. So this is velocity actually. Okay. Like it tells you how fast the object moves and also tells the direction. Okay. So speed tells you only fast an object is moving, it does not tell you the direction the object is moving. The measure of both speed and direction is called velocity. Velocity is a vector that can be represented by an arrow. The length of the arrow represents speed, and the way the arrow represents direction. Okay, so in simple, like, also you can keep in your mind, like, SI unit of velocity is meters per second, which is m divided by s. Okay, so the three arrows in the figure, look at these three arrows. Yes, vector A and B are in the same length, which is this, the red one and the blue one. Okay, they represent object moving at the same speed but in different directions. Okay, vector C is shorter than vector A or B but points in the same direction as vector A. It represents an object moving at a slower speed than A or B but in the same direction as A. So if you're still not sure for the difference between velocity and speed, watch the cartoon in the URL. Okay. So here we have formula of the velocity. V is equals to d by t. Okay. Here we have some practice question. So what is the average velocity of a saucer ball that is kicked and traveled 2.17 meter east in 1.36 seconds? So you simply have to put values in this formula. V is equals to d by t, and then you will get the answer. Okay. And the first one is 1.60 meters per second. Okay, like you simply have to insert values in this formula. So the next one is acceleration. So first you know the idea of acceleration, like what is acceleration? Acceleration means a change in velocity. Like this changes can happen because speed increases or decreases, direction changes, both speed and direction can change. Okay, so acceleration is how quickly an object's velocity changes. Okay, so imagine the thrill of riding a roller coaster like this. The coaster crawls to the top of the track and then flies down the other side. It also zooms around, twists, and turns at the breakneck speed. These change in speed and direction are what make a roller coaster ride so exciting. So changes in speed or direction are called acceleration. Okay, so in simple words, acceleration is how quickly an object's velocity changes. Okay, like you can see that a car goes from 20 kilometer per hour to 50 kilometer per hour. This is also acceleration. And a car slows from 60 kilometer per hour to 20 kilometer per hour. This is also acceleration, and it is called a negative acceleration or deceleration. Okay. So acceleration is a vector quantity that is defined as a rate at which an object changes its velocity. An object is accelerating if it is changing its velocity. Okay. So the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass. So basically, it explains that more force causes more acceleration, and more mass it harder it to accelerate an object. Okay, simply put, the force cause an object to accelerate while the object mass resists acceleration. That means acceleration decreases if force increases and vice versa. Okay, like let's take an example. Like it is easier to push an empty shopping cart than a full one. The full one has more mass, so it accelerates less with the same push. Okay. So the next one is friction. So friction is an invisible force that slows down moving object, like it acts in the opposite direction of the motion. Okay, you might have noticed during the bobsled simulator that it went farther depending on what surface it was sliding on. Ice was a better surface than asphalt because of an invisible force called friction. So basically, friction is an invisible force that slows down moving object, like it acts in the opposite direction of motion. Like you can say, kick a football, the ball moves forward. The grass creates friction. Friction slows the ball until it stops. Okay. Another example you can say is a hockey puck slides farther on ice than on sandpaper because ice has less friction. Okay. Okay. You know, how can we reduce friction? Like we use lubricants such as water, soap, oil, wax. These make surfaces smoother so object move more slowly. Okay. So friction always acts in the opposite direction of the object in motion. Now, that's certainly a bit tricky to wrap your brain around, especially since friction is an invisible force. But take a look at the image of the saucer ball below. Okay, this. Like when you kick the ball, you are applying a force from your foot to the ball, pushing it forward, while the grass is applying friction in the opposite direction, ultimately slows down the ball. Okay. So the smoother the surface and the object are, the less friction there will be. Okay. So are there ways we can reduce friction? Yes. We use lubricants such as water, soap, oil, wax. Like these make surface smoother so object move more easily. Okay. Like this. Okay. The next one is air resistance. So air resistance is a basically type of friction caused by air. Like it slows down moving objects. Okay, like you can say that a skydiver falls because of gravity. Air pushes upward against the skydiver. This air resistance slows the fall. Okay. However, something that causes friction cannot always be seen. For example, air resistance is a type of friction that is caused by, yes, you guessed it, air. Particles of the air hinder the motion of an object. So, for instance, when someone skydives and parachutes out of a plane, gravity is pulling them down to earth. But air resistance is also working in the opposite direction to slow them down. Okay, here we have types of friction. There are three main types of friction, which is sliding friction, rolling friction, and fluid friction. The friction that occurs when an object slides. For example, when you slide down a slide. Okay, this is a sliding friction. Rolling friction, the friction that occurs when an object rolls. For example, skateboard wheels rolling on the sidewalk. Okay, fluid friction, like the friction that occurs between an object and a fluid or a gas. For example, a shark swimming through the ocean water. This is fluid friction. Okay, here we have different kinds of forces, which is non-contact force versus contact force. Okay, a non-contact force is a force that affects an object without coming physically in contact with it. Like a non-contact force works without touching an object, in simple words. Like you can say gravity, magnetic force. A magnet can pull a paper clip without touching it. Okay, so this is a non-contact force. Forces like gravity pulling you down to earth or a magnet pulling a paper clip toward it are both non-contact force. They are not physically touching an object in order to apply their force to it. Whereas a contact force, okay. So a contact force works by touching an object, like it is the opposite of non-contact force. A contact force is a force that affects an object by physically applying a force to it. Like when you push your friend on a swing, you are physically applying a push force to them that is sending them forward. So this is a contact force, okay? The next one is balanced or unbalanced force. Okay. So, okay. So, balanced force, like balanced force uh, that are equal in size but opposite in direction. Balanced force cause no movement because they balance each other out. Like balanced forces are equal in size but opposite in direction. The result is the object does not move. Like let's take an example. Like two teams pull a rope with 300 Newton each. Neither team wins because the forces are balanced. Okay. The next one is unbalanced force. Forces that are unequal in size will cause movement in the direction of the stronger force. Like unbalanced force are not equal. The stronger force wins. The object moves in the direction of the stronger force. Like our one team pulls with 400 Newton, the other team pulls with 300 Newton. The team pulling with 400 Newton will win. Okay. So the next one is gravity. Okay, so it is an invisible, non-contact force that draws things towards the center of an object, such as planet or a star. Like, gravity is an invisible, non-contact force. Like it always pulls object towards the center of the earth or another planet or stars. Like gravity never pushes. Okay, so gravity is an invisible, non-contact force that draws things together towards the center of an object, such as planet or a star. Gravity is a force of attraction between two objects. Gravity always pulls; it never pushes. Earth has gravity, and gravity is the reason why we are not floating around everywhere. Gravity is what pulls us down towards the Earth. It kind of straps us on so that we don't fly off the planet. Okay, and why don't we float? Like earth gravity pulls us downward. Without gravity people would float away, water would float into space, and nothing would stay on the ground. Okay, anything that has mass has a gravitational pull. So a car, an apple, your shoe, a tree, and even you all have a gravitational pull. It's just a loss. It's just a lot less of a pull compared to the gravitational pull of the earth. Like more mass is equals to more gravity. Like large planets have strong gravity than the smaller ones. Okay. you know uh, One thing you must keep in your mind that, let's see, the bigger mass, the bigger attraction. Okay? Because large planets have stronger gravity than smaller ones. Okay, so gravity on the moon. The moon has less gravity than Earth. Because of this, you would weigh less on the moon. You could jump much higher than on Earth. Okay? Sir Isaac Newton. Okay. Okay, so I will tell you a short story of this. It's a very interesting story. Like Sir Isaac Newton was a famous scientist. So according to the document, he wondered why an apple fell from a tree and realized that an invisible force was pulling it towards Earth. This led to his study of gravity and the laws of motion. Like in 1687, he published philosophy in naturalist principle and mathematica, like one of the most important books in the history of scientists and mathematics. And it also notes that the Newton was humble and credited earlier thinkers such as Aristotle for helping make his discoveries possible. Okay,